the series Trans is being brought to you by In Harmony as well as Tweet Foundation. The next one. So since 2014, we have been working under two pillars. Diversity and inclusion is a large part of our work. We work, these are some of the pillars under which we offer our services. And large part of our work is in the area of how to create inclusive cultures at workplaces as well as in society. The other pillar is employee well-being, where we offer psychological counseling service through our partner organization. And we offer a lot of interesting short module well-being sessions that we fondly call cutting chai, because we are from Bombay and cutting chai is very synonymous with Bombay. These are some of our clients with whom we have done some fabulous, very interesting assignments with, and we're extremely proud to have them with us. The next one, please, Shri. So to give you a little introduction about Tweet Foundation, so Abhina Aher, who is one of the founding members of Tweet Foundation, she is usually here with me for these webinars. Today she had a very important call, so she'll finish that and join us. So I'm going to introduce Tweet Foundation. Tweet stands for Transgender Welfare, Equity and Empowerment Trust. It was conceptualized in 2015 after realizing that there were very serious gaps at the national level on transgender related issues, whether it was advocacy, research, capacity building or empowerment of other organizations which were working with transgender people. So Tweet is led by trans men as well as trans women. They work in the area of gender transition support, personal development, health and social welfare, policy reforms and advocacy, art and culture, community leadership, and mobilization. Now, to tell you a little bit about what Trans is so Trans is, we started last month, and our whole aim is to bridge the gap between what we realize is a lot of people really don't know much about the transgender community. Today, a lot of initiatives are being made on including giving job opportunities to the transgender people. But for society at large, much is unknown. And our whole initiative is to bridge that gap, to bring the community into the mainstream area and to educate society about the community, their issues, what are some of the challenges, what are some of the huge victories that they have had. And this is the fifth one, and this is the second episode in the social and workplace inclusion space. So we have two very eminent speakers in today's session. Zainab Patel, who is a director, diversity and inclusion at KPMG India. And I'm really hoping, Zainab, that your audio is okay now. And we have Simran Arora, who's a consultant transgender with NBC FTC, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India. I think, Shireen, we can stop screen sharing. And Zainab, if you could just say something and come on the screen so I can introduce you properly.
Hi, Anupama, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm delighted to hear you, and I'm so happy.
Thank you. I had to actually switch over to my phone because the laptop, for some reason, I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
Yes, okay. So I'm firstly delighted to hear you, and more delighted that you're here in our webinar. Thank you so much for being here. So many of you may know Zainab already. So Zainab was born in, she's a Mumbaiker, and she's a transgender person and is one of the petitioners in the National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India case on transgender rights. She had joined KPMG last year as Director, Diversity and Inclusion. She holds an MBA in HR and was the National Manager, Health and Human Rights at UNDP Country Office in India. Her areas of interest are health and social development issues and comes with over 20 years of national and international work experience. Thank you, Zainab, for being here.
Thank you, Anupama.
Our second speaker is Simran Arora. So Simran starts her introduction with this quote saying, Simran, can you say hi? Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah.
Education gives you power and your behavior wins heart. She's a consultant transgender, National Backward Classes Finance and Development Corporation under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment with the Government of India. Welcome, Simran. And I'm definitely going to have one question to ask you about the quote which you have given in your introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start with Janab. Could you tell all of us here a little bit about your journey and how you landed up, how your career has also panned out? So starting from your education, your childhood, everything, please.
So I was born and brought up in Mumbai in a Roman Catholic family. Completed my education mostly in Mumbai. And post that, I moved to Delhi. So I started my career in social activism around 20 years ago, at the late end of 1999 and early 2001. And I was involved with the first protest around Section 377. And that's how I happened to come in contact with Humsafar, started my career in social development, worked my way to college, and met some amazing trans activists and friends who became part of my families of choice. Um, as I grew up, I realized that my sense of gender and identity and expression was much different than what people thought of me. So while I was always an effeminate, shy child, there wasn't any misogyny in my family. My family was pretty open. Uh, we shared a good system of values where there was respect for each other. The problem was being in an all boys school. That's where the problems around gender identity expression, suicidal ideation, depression set in. And I tried multiple times to self harm myself because I just couldn't get to understand what was wrong with me physically, because I knew I had the mind and heart of a woman, but if I saw my body, I could identify myself as a male. So I was trying to understand why is it that I feel so differently, and the dysphoria was really high during childhood. In fact, in the many times that I tried to hurt myself, a common theme was I do not want to go into an all boys school again. I somehow managed to complete my uh, 10th standard and then went on to junior college. And that opened a real new world out to me because I got to meet many new people, see the world at close quarters, meet people from the Hijra community who became friends, taught me ways of life, etc. So from my perspective, this has been my growing up. From there, I transitioned, came to Delhi, started working on so from 2009, actually, my real transition in terms of the way the world understands it, outer gender manifestation and expression happened. And that's when I started going away from my family
Your
because
voice is breaking, Janab. Yeah.
because my family could never come in terms with my gender identity. So from that time, I started working on myself from a career perspective, from a professional perspective, because yes, while gender identity and expression is more intrinsic to me, I also wanted a stable career in front of myself. So that's how I actually worked on myself. I worked for a little more than a decade in India and in the region. So I worked as a policy analyst on human rights with the UN system as well. I came back to India and then transitioned on to a job with the private sector. That's how I actually started working with KPMG.
Okay. Thanks, Zainab. I think very clearly, like many other trans people who have shared their journey, the initial childhood days have been very traumatic and difficult. And it's really wonderful to see that you stuck in that resilience in you, brought you from there to where you are today. Uh, at that point, I just wanted to ask one question: that what made you decide? Because you were in a boys' school, like, and from what I hear you say, that going to a boys' school was one of the most traumatic things for you. What made you really realize the fact that education is very important? That I need to complete education and in my life.
I think the only fact that made me, I mean, apart from the fact that my parents forced me to complete my education, when I stepped out after 10th standard and started going to college, I realized that people live in abstract poverty. Trans people were only begging or doing sex work. A few of them were involved in some community-based organization, but the career trajectory was very limited. And we didn't really see role models then. We didn't, at that point of time, if I were to say, there wasn't any Abhina or there weren't any Simran available to us as role models to look forward to emulate. And the choice was that, do we continue then to live life anonymously or create a niche for myself? That's the time I finished my graduation. And then someone gave me a very important piece of advice. If you want to move ahead in life, at some point of time you will have to get a post graduation degree, because that will only put you amongst equals. Otherwise, you will always continue to remain on the periphery. And that is my only advice to a lot of people, to the LGBTIQ community or people from different marginalized group backgrounds, is that education is an absolute must for people who can afford to have it. Don't allow yourself to get distracted only on basis of your orientation or gender identity, because what you do with your life also counts. Having that income to be able to decide on your identity or expression or orientation, or to be able to live in with your partner, all that is determined by your ability to earn. To a large extent, at least, from your ability to earn and spend. Today, probably as an English speaking, confident woman, I can probably walk into any restaurant, pay my bill, go to a coffee shop. This would still be seen as a huge marker of difference between those who are in positions of privilege and those who aren't. So all of this has only come in because I have managed to push myself to complete education and to work on myself as a viable career option.
Thanks, Zainab. I think that's a very, very important message for a lot of people, that education, why keep that focus on education, and why it's so important to be self-reliant, to have that income and have a job where you are able to share the kind of views that you're sharing. So you didn't have a role model, but I think you, Simran, and all the other speakers who have shared their journey, you all are the role models for so many other people. And we have a lot of community members also who have joined the session today. Simran, I would like to now understand from you, firstly, to start with, why that quote? What is special about that quote?
I was just listening to Jaina Patel, that she was talking about the education, which is very important. I totally agree with that. Education gives you the power and behavior wins the herd. So education is the only tool where we can, that be stable, be confident. And after that, first of all, I just want to tell you, we just started a helpline through the corporation and the CFTC, just to know all these things, that the people, the TGs are of, younger age, 17, 18. This is a time that where we feel like that we have to choose a career or we have to go for a transition. So that is a real, difficult time for the transitioning. So I believe that if we'll choose the education later on, definitely we'll move ahead and we'll chase other things. So education plays a very important role in our life, in everybody's life, even if you talk about the mainstream.
So that is the relevance. So what to the quote that you have?
So about me, I born and brought up in Delhi, and I did my graduation from Delhi University. And before my transitioning, I was working with the retail sector, and I just tried to come out in front of my family, but somehow they did not accept me the way I wanted to come out. But my sister was very close to me, and she always supported me and understand that what kind of feeling I'm getting, and always supported me. But once I felt like that I have to just, that when I was doing my final year, I decided to leave my family, and then my journey got started, and my family completely came in favor of me. But this is not with everyone, so I'll be saying that if you are getting two options, you have to choose your study and your that other thing. So you should choose your education first, and later on the other things you can start.
Okay.
Because once you will get the confidence from the family, and as the Jaina Patel ji says, कि role models ने सारे नहीं थे पहले, तो बहुत कम थे. आपने खुद ही सोचना है कि क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना. और उसके बाद जब आप एक चीज कर लेते हैं, तो उसके बाद फिर वो कॉन्फिडेंस शायद आगे डेवलप होता रहता है.
So आप जो कह रहे हो, जो जैनब ने भी कहा कि अगर एजुकेट, लाइक आपकी भी स्टोरी में आप जो बोल रहे हो कि अगर एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करते करते ग्रेजुएशन कर रहे थे, इसलिए फैमिली ने भी आपको आपकी ये डिसीजन को एक्सेप्ट किया. सो कहीं एजुकेशन जो कर रहे हो, दैट आई थिंक इट इज अ प्रूफ कि यू आर वेरी सीरियस अबाउट both the aspects that you are looking at. So कहीं पे एक वो
Exactly.
respect भी आ जाती है.
रिस्पेक्ट से आती है और एक कहीं ना कहीं आप में खुद भी एक कॉन्फिडेंस आता है कि आप कुछ करने वाले हो और जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस उनकी है एटलीस्ट आप उनको भी पूरा करेंगे साथ ही साथ.
Okay. Thanks Simran so much for sharing. Zainab, you started your career in a social sector. What was your experience? Like you were with UNDP and uske pehle Humsafar Trust. You started with Humsafar Trust. So what were some of your experiences in the social sector?
Let me say everything that I have learned in my professional life and in my personal life has come due to my association in the social sector. Had it not been for these important years of my life, 7 years of my life I spent in the social sector with Humsafar. One is that I learned that biological families are not everything in the world. There are families of choice, because these are those kind of people who actually make the difference in your life. They give you the wings to fly, they provide you with the opportunities to grow, and at the given opportune time they also cut the umbilical cord so that you become a truly independent person. So all thanks to my peers, my seniors, my colleagues at Humsafar, out of which Abhina is a very senior colleague at Humsafar. People like Ashok and Vicky, who groomed me to become what I am today. If you had to probably meet me 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I used to be a very shy person. I had difficulties in finding roads, asking people for directions. So I remember when I came to Delhi in 2009, and that time GPS maps were not as active and not as accurate as they are today. If you want to even go to a particular grocery store, you can find it on Google Map probably and find. I was once roaming one area for 20-25 minutes because I just didn't have the confidence to ask people how to go to this one particular area. I think what life has taught me from my social I call it development practice rather than social work.
Okay.
Because I thought about appreciating everything that I have been born with. So while there are a lot of trans people who come and share extremely torrid stories of deprivation, stories about painful existence and memories and abuse, I try to bring out the brighter side of things, because I believe that one has to match the good with the bad, the ugly with the pretty, and find some common ground. Life cannot always be about deprivation. It is also about giving back. It's also about celebrating. So while I have also had my own stories around difficult moments, about loss of self-worth, suicide. Anupama, I tried to self-harm myself 9 times over my 39 years of my life. And at the last time I told myself that no, I'm meant for something better and I will work on this. तो मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ी सीख ये है अनुपमा कि ओशो ने बहुत एक खूबसूरत बात कही कि जब आप अपने आप से प्यार करने लगते हो तो दुनिया खूबसूरत बन जाती है. And I think my development practice has taught me that love yourself, whatever you may be, thin, tall, dark, body type, features, poverty status, love yourself for what you are. Never give up and never compromise on your existence because you don't meet up to people's standard. In fact, मैं तो ये अभी सबको ये कहती हूँ wherever I go, आज के तारीख में the most nationalist thing to do, because everyone is keen on giving out certifications for each other, I tell people that the most nationalist thing to do is to be your true self. And what a better month than Pride to be your true self. So be proud of what you are. If people think it's a choice, attempt to correct their misconceptions. Not all of them will be convinced, but at least you made a try. The second thing is that appreciate the diversity in something else. A lot of बहुत सारे लोग हमारे बीच में ऐसे हैं जिनको ऐसा लगता है, अरे we are inclusion evangelists, we talk about human rights, but I think we are still a long way to go for appreciating diversity and inclusion. We may talk the right language, we may do the right things, we may go to the right conferences and be seen as doing the right thing, but deep down of all of us have implicit biases, whether it's on basis of skin color, type, religion, ethnicity, whatever. I think that is something that social work and development practice has totally taught me over these years. There is nothing such thing as not being able to learn something new. And I'll give you an example. जब मैं इंडिया में थी मुझे लगता था कि इंडियन खाना इतना टेस्टी है, इतना खुशबूदार है, anyone would love it. When I went and worked in Bangkok for 3 years, Bangkok had the particular apartment that I was living in had a very conscious rule that no strong smelling foods to be allowed and no cooking. And I once made biryani for Eid. The biryani smell fumigated the entire environment, and I was fined 10,000 baht by the society management for disrupting the harmony because people complained of the smell coming. So while I thought that stinky tofu or those kind of food stuff or bamboo shoots would be the more you know not so pleasant food items or aromas associated with, I also learned to appreciate the fact that people also think of the same about Indian food and the way we cook. So diversity comes at a cost, and appreciating this is a lesson that we would learn, that we need to constantly learn and unlearn as we move ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Arab. So what I'm hearing you say is the development sector helped you to appreciate diversity and understand this whole spirit of what inclusion also means. And I think Humsafar Trust, almost everybody that we have spoken to has such amazing experiences working with Humsafar Trust. I think almost everybody has been touched by Ashok and Vivek, I think, in somewhere or the other in their life, in their growth. And that's really kudos to them for being, I think they're the first ones to have set up an NGO to work in this space, and they've really done a fabulous job. If people have, this is the experience I hear from almost everybody. So I think that's wonderful. And the fact you said about implicit bias, I completely agree. I think it is there within us. It just, and every now and then there is a mirror which shows the ugly face that we hold these biases, and they still come in the middle of all our interactions actually. सही कहा आपने. और ये भी जो बात कही ना कि you have to love yourself first. We all are so self-critical about ourselves, and if you want others to love you, I think first you need to start loving yourself. Absolutely right. सिमरन, आपने बोला कि आपने रिटेल सेक्टर से आपने अपना करियर शुरू किया, तो कैसे था रिटेल सेक्टर में आपका एक्सपीरियंस? क्या आप तब एज आउट ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन थे रिटेल में?
No, actually, since beginning, my hobby is to interacting with the people. मुझे लोगों से बात करना अच्छा लगता है, and I was a good performer in retail. But when I started doing my transitioning, and it was a question in front of me that should I continue the study in retail management? But मेरे सामने ऐसा एग्जाम्पल कोई था नहीं. तो मैं पहले थोड़ा सा अपने बारे में ये बता देती हूँ कि मेरी हॉबीज क्या है. मुझे बाइकिंग पसंद है, स्पोर्ट्स में मुझे इंटरेस्ट है. आई डोंट थिंक सो मेरा ये प्रिस्क्रिप्शन खुद का है कि आपको जो भी चीज अच्छी लगती है आपको करनी चाहिए लाइफ. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि लाइफ एक बार नहीं मिलती, लाइफ तो हर दिन मिलती है, तो हर दिन कुछ नया करना चाहिए, एंड एवरी डे इज अ न्यू लर्निंग. तो मैंने क्यूबा इज अ केजी यूनाइटेड बाइकिंग एसोसिएशन, इनके साथ बाइकर्स के लिए भी मैंने बीच में अप्लाई किया था. जैसे मैंने अपना ट्रांजिशन स्टार्ट किया तो देयर वाज मेनी थॉट लाइक आई हैव टू डू दिस, मुझे रिटेल में ही कंटिन्यू करना है, तो और बाइकिंग भी करनी है और स्पोर्ट्स में भी जाना है. काफी सारे आइडियाज माइंड में थे, बट उसके बाद जैसे ही मैंने ये सब चीजों को करना स्टार्ट किया तो कुछ हर्डल्स बीच में आए. बट उसके बाद भी ये रहा कि थोड़े टाइम के लिए जरूर आप रुकेंगे, लेकिन then you have to just take a long breath and you have to start again. And I thought like there's lot of problem with the community and I have to start working for the community. And ये जो मेरी skills हैं, जो मुझे लगता है कि मुझे बहुत सारे लोगों से बात करना अच्छा लगता है, इसको मैं इसी तरफ यूज करूं. And I decided to I joined as a counselor with the CBO. कम्युनिटी बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और मित्र, एंड उसके बाद मैंने वहीं से अपनी जर्नी स्टार्ट कर दी, एंड instead of going to become a manager in the retail or going to be in a higher position, I just started working for the community. And जहाँ भी मुझे लगा कि as an activist, it's not about the community only, it's women empowerment or any other thing. जहाँ मुझे मौका मिला मैंने वहाँ जाना स्टार्ट किया, because I thought that from everywhere I learned something and it will boost my confidence. So I just started going to learn that track.
Okay. So Simran, tell me, you chose to work with the community-based organizations, और मतलब जहाँ पे आपकी community के साथ ज़्यादा interaction है, एक तो because आप you felt कि उनके लिए भी आपको कुछ करना चाहिए. क्या ये बात भी हो सकती है कि आपको बिकॉज आप उस समय ट्रांजिशन करने लगे थे कि आपको ज़्यादा कम्युनिटी के बीच में थोड़ा ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल लग रहा था, सपोर्ट भी ज़्यादा मिल रहा था, लाइक अगर आप रिटेल जॉब में रहते तो कहीं आपको वो एक डर था कि ट्रांजिशनिंग के टाइम में आपको सपोर्ट मिलेगा या लोग क्या कहेंगे, ऐसा कभी कुछ इशू रहा आपके साथ?
जैसा मैंने बताया, एक मोमेंट जब आपके सामने एग्जांपल्स नहीं होते तो थॉट आपके माइंड में जरूर आता है, लेकिन अगर आपको अपना कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ाना है तो आई थिंक आपको वही चीज करनी चाहिए जो आप नहीं कर सकते, आपको लगता है लोग नहीं करने देंगे। अगर आप वही चीज चूज करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली विल बूस्ट योर कॉन्फिडेंस। क्योंकि इफ विल टॉक अबाउट द विमेन, एक टाइम पे विमेन के लिए भी शायद स्पोर्ट्स में जगह नहीं होती होगी, बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं जहाँ पे जगह नहीं होती होंगी। So this is the time that the transgender community is struggling and we have to, you know, हमको बाहर आना और हमको आगे बढ़ना है। तो ये एटीट्यूड लेके अगर हम आगे बढ़ेंगे तो लॉन्ग वे टू गो, अभी बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है।
सही बात है, लॉन्ग वे टू गो। आई थिंक सबसे बड़ी बात है कि बहुत सारे आप जैसे लोग रोल मॉडल्स आ रहे हैं, तो द यंगर जनरेशन के लिए होप है, डायरेक्शन के लिए कहीं जा सकते हैं वो लोग। आप लोग
या वन मोर थिंग आई जस्ट वांट टू से दैट जैनब जी को मैं जैसे बहुत पहले से देखते आ रही हूँ, सिमरन शेख, अभिनय है, काफी सारे एक्टिविटीज हैं जो बहुत एक्टिवली काम करते आ रहे हैं। हाँ, मेरे सामने ये कुछ एग्जांपल पहले थे जब मैंने एनजीओ को ज्वाइन किया, तो मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं ये पिलर उन्होंने पहले से हमारी कम्युनिटी के लिए खड़ा कर दिया, एंड वी शुड एप्रिशिएट दैट कि हमको वो बेस मिल गया, एंड नाउ वी हैव टू टेक इट टू द नेक्स्ट स्टेप और हमको और आगे लेके जाना है।
Fabulous. It's really wonderful to see how you look out for each other and support each other also to grow. मुझे ये बताइए, मेरे को बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगा, आपको बाइकिंग में भी इंटरेस्ट था and which is a very and sports which is mostly like very boyish kind of games, and then you also wanted to you identified as a girl. What kind of games did you like and कैसे आपको ट्रीट करते थे?
Frankly speaking, community में भी कुछ friends से ऐसा सुनने को मिला that you are a trans, you said that you are a trans woman, now you are riding a bike, you shouldn't ride a bike, but मुझे नहीं लगता कि एक लड़की को पिंक कलर ही पसंद आएगा और एक लड़के को ब्लू कलर ही पसंद आएगा। It's all about your choices. अगर मुझे बाइकिंग पसंद है, अगर मुझे लगता है that is my talent, तो मुझे उसको भी यूज करना चाहिए। और मैंने वही सब चीजें की जो मुझे करनी चाहिए थी, जो मेरे दिल ने गवाई थी, और शायद वो ठीक होती गई। तो ये मुझे लगता है कि बाइकिंग में इंटरेस्ट था, अभी भी है और आगे भी रहेगा, क्योंकि वो इंटरनली है मेरे लिए।
वेरी नाइस।
मेरी बहुत सारी फीमेल फ्रेंड्स भी होती हैं जो बाइक चलाती हैं, एंड उनके साथ भी।
वेरी नाइस। कभी आप दिल्ली से मुंबई तक का बाइकिंग जर्नी में आइए।
डेफिनेटली।
अच्छा, Zainab, you've spoken about your career starting with the development sector, and so were you always clear about your career goals and aspirations?
I was only clear about one thing, that whichever sector I may work in, I wanted to create an impact and leave a mark on. So while I started with a career in social work at the grassroots level, I think I left a mark there. As I moved on to a funding agency, I left a mark there. I moved on to the UN, I definitely left a mark there. And now it's my honeymoon period with the corporate. I feel I've made some successes within my organization and within the D&I space. Yes, that is all that I have it. I never per se envisaged that I would do this particular job. as someone who studied management, I was open to a generalist kind of a role, not necessarily one. And in fact, I was also looking at CSR openings because I think that was more of an area of comfort, where you look at corporate citizenship and looked at avenues for the time that I was mulling over when I wanted to cross over from the development sector to the private sector. I thought that would be something that I would probably be interested in or could drive better. And then one day this job happened and life changed after that, if I could say.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So, as a DNI director at KPMG, what are like some of the things which which you see that you have, like you said, you're already making some change there. I also know that is there a difference like you heading DNI as a trans woman, or it doesn't matter who's heading it? Do you bring any special sensitivities?
Um, Let me answer the question differently. So when I was getting interviewed for my position,
Hmm.
One of the CEOs in KPMG told me this after I onboarded, and there was this personal 10-minute interaction with him. Said that don't for once ever think that you were brought in as a trophy person to lead DNI. We saw potential. We saw the ability that you could drive change without blabbering too much about inclusion. And we didn't wanted an activist. We wanted an evangelist. So I thought they were able to look at competency versus ability to deliver.
Hmm.
Uh, I think I have made much better progress on gender parity, for that matter, within my organization. I lead the KPMG Network of Women, which is a global network for India, and it's about 10,000 women strong. And I think that is something that I look at with extreme pride, to be able to do something for my fellow co-workers, or for that matter, driving the PWD agenda at the organization. I'm also mindful that I need to look out for my colleagues from the community, and just having me there has kind of instilled confidence in a lot of people from different marginalized groups. So whether there is someone who comes in from, say, a minority or Muslim community background, to have someone who actually sounds like a Muslim, if not a practicing Muslim, or for someone who can speak up on the issues of persons with disability with equal flair as that of for an LGBT community. I think there are certain things on these grounds which we need to be very mindful of, that when you belong to one particular community and you have the burden of championing DNI for everyone within the organization, you have to take up the challenge to pull together marginalized communities, not only one or two or three, just I'm comfortable with doing something on LGBTI inclusion. Yes, we've been able to have gender affirming surgeries being offered to all. Yes, we are working on gender agnostic and orientation agnostic benefits package. We have same sex insurance. We have uh, zero tolerance for sexual harassment, including on grounds of gender identity and expression, in the existing internal complaints committee. But that's not what I'm happy about. What I feel is that one is from the tokenistic part, that when you are a trans person, you are expected to be a super role model. You are supposed to deliver. I want to break that stereotype actually. और सिमरन जी ने भी एक बहुत अच्छी बात की कि मेरे लिए अबीना जी या जैनब जी, मैंने उनको देखा है वो पिलर्स बन के. मैं एक चीज बहुत क्लियरली बोलना चाहता हूँ, चाहे वो पुरुष हो, स्त्री हो, या कोई भी हो, ट्रांस पर्सन हो, you don't need to always be a role model. If you're a hero, you can be a hero for yourself. You don't need to succumb under the pressure of becoming a role model, because role models are often caught into this labyrinth of trying to become someone else's hero or demigod, and they put themselves to so much of pressure to conform to one particular role or identity or prestige, and that leads to a person's fall. So I feel that it's okay not to be a hero. It's okay to be a champion, rather than to be a role model, because whether it's a male or a female or a trans person, when they get caught within the labyrinth of becoming a hero, then there is unfortunately, like Mariah Carey says, you have to be your own hero. You can't wait for a superhero to come and rescue you. So no Spider-Man hanging, upside down, and no Jane waiting to be kissed. So you have to be your own hero and kiss yourself in the mirror every day.
That's so beautifully said. And how true is that? When you put, and sometimes I think we only take on that role of that I need to be the role model for somebody else. I think you just become role models for somebody else when you are yourself. And those are people make you a role model because they learn from those behaviors of yours. And yes, you're right, you need to be a little watchful about, are you adding that additional pressure and burden to live up to a certain
And Anupama, I want to step in and actually make
sure.
one more addition to what I just said. Sometimes when you bring in people from the LGBTIQ community, or specifically from the trans hijra community at the workplace, suddenly, there in all of the confidence boosting measure, suddenly you expect, I heard this in another call, on another webinar call. He said, oh ma'am, we work with people from the transgender community, and we worked on creating a organic product, and they were so good on issues of sanitation, they were so timely, and they delivered promptly better than the others. And I said, what if they were not prompt in their delivery? What if they were not as good as others? Would you have stopped working with them? Or do you want to put them on a pedestal and make them, make them ready to fall? I would suggest, be your own self. Everyone is a human being. There is a saying in Urdu, koi yahan beaib nahi. So I think when you are born in the human race, you have some failings,
Zanab,
some fault lines.
yeah,
So I said, there
can
is a
hear you.
saying in
Can hear
Urdu,
you.
koi yahan beaib nahi. So I think when you're born in the human race, you have certain fallibility, you have certain issues which make you weak, and it's okay to celebrate the weakness as well as the strength. So no need to become a front runner, no need to become like a PT Usha running, sprinting across 100-meter run to prove yourself, oh, someone gave me a job, I have to do better than the others. So I think people, employers as well as employees, need to be mindful that you have been provided with equity, but to excel in the race is a different equation for another day.
Wow, that's an amazing thought. And I think it is very, very valuable because today many companies are looking at hiring transgender people. And to keep this in mind is very important. Uh, that, what are you expecting when you're hiring people from a marginalized community, not just transgender people, but any other marginalized community, and not to put that extra burden that because we have taken you on, you need to stand out as a role model within the organization. Uh, that's a wonderful way that you have expressed, Zainab.
People ask me, what is my view on Section 370 abrogation? And I said, my view is the view of the country. I mean, whatever is being decided by the legislature, and if the judiciary finds merit in that there. So I think, this kind of question, that if you are a Muslim, you have to adhere to certain norms to be acceptable to others. If you are a PWD, you are competing on ability in terms of with people who are not as disabled as you are. So I think that kind of a competitive benchmarking that we inadvertently and subconsciously at some kind consciously pull people, that has to stop. Like a pregnant mother returns back after delivery, you're putting her in the same kind of competitive benchmarking as people who are continuing on the job. So that is a bit unfair, and that also applies to people from.
Okay. Um, Simran, typically, जब transgender लोग, when they look out for a job, what do they expect from workplace? Whether it is development sector or whether it is in a corporate, what does a transgender person expect?
Yeah, the most important thing is everybody wants respect and equality. So they should not be treated as a differently or इसके लिए मैं सिर्फ इतना ही कहूँगी, कुछ स्पेशल करने की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ वैसा ही चाहिए होता है जैसा कि जैसे हम हैं वैसे ही अपनाएं, और जो एक्सेस बाकी सबके लिए है वो एक्सेस हमारे लिए हो. So if we'll talk about any of the workplace like rule and regulation, that is for the male, female, that should be for everyone. That is for the transgender. There's nothing special that we want. We just want the equality. So मुझे नहीं लगता कुछ ऐसा होता है. Just be yourself, or मैं कम्युनिटी के लिए भी यही बोलूंगी, जस्ट बी योरसेल्फ एंड इससे ज्यादा कुछ एक्सपेक्ट करते नहीं है। और मुझे नहीं लगता ऐसा कि कुछ स्पेशल एक्सपेक्टेशंस रहती हैं हमारी।
लेकिन आप सही बोल रहे हैं कि जस्ट एक्सेप्ट अस एज हु वी आर, एंड आई थिंक वो हर किसी को ऐसे ही लगता है। लेकिन ये हकीकत है कि लाइक जब जाते हैं कोई भी वर्क प्लेस में कि आपको वही एक्सेप्टेंस मिलता है जैसे आप बात कर रहे हैं। जनरली कम्युनिटी में क्या लाइक एक्सपीरियंस उनका क्या रहता है?
इसके लिए मैं एक चीज फिर से रिपीट करना चाहूंगी कि इट विल टॉक अबाउट द वुमेन लॉन्ग बैक, लाइक these things are, it will talk about the UPSC. if उसमें अगर एग्जाम होते हैं तो मेल्स के लिए ज्यादा मेल स्टूडेंट होते हैं, फीमेल नहीं है। काफी सारी चीजें थी ऐसी जो फीमेल लॉन्ग बैक करती ही नहीं थी। एक टाइम आया व्हेन यू टुक इट एज अ चैलेंज, नहीं फीमेल भी कर सकती हैं। तो धीरे 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 वो परसेंटेज बढ़ता गया। द सेम सिचुएशन इज विद द ट्रांसजेंडर कम्युनिटी नाउ, दैट हमने बहुत सारा रास्ता पार किया है अभी तक और बहुत अच्छे से कर रहे हैं। एंड अभी लॉन्ग वे टू गो, हमको बहुत कुछ चेंज लाना है ऐसा। तो जैसे जैसे हम ये करते जाएंगे हम ऑटोमेटिकली ये सिस्टम चेंज होता रहेगा। हाँ, इट विल टेक टाइम, उसमें टाइम लगेगा क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं हम बोले जेंडर इक्वालिटी की हम बात करते हैं, लेकिन सोसाइटी में जो वो मतभेद रहे हैं वो बहुत टाइम से रहे हैं, चाहे हम पुरुष और औरत के बीच में भी देख लें तब भी रहे हैं। तो फिर अब टाइम है, कम्युनिटी भी आगे आ रही है और बहुत लॉन्ग रास्ते तक आगे जाना है।
सो एक और बात ये है ना सिमरन, जैसे आई मीन आप जैनब तो आप लोगों ने अपनी पढ़ाई कंप्लीट करी, लेकिन कई लोग ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने शायद 10वीं भी नहीं करी होगी। तो ऐसे लोगों के लिए क्या ट्रेनिंग दे सकते हैं, स्किल डेवलपमेंट में क्या कर सकते हैं जिससे कि वो लोग भी अगर नौकरी ढूंढना चाहें तो कर सकते हैं? एंड आई फील कि जैसे ये जो अभी पीरियड आया है 2-3 महीना, ये जो लॉकडाउन का आया है, ये क्लियरली दिखाता है कि एक स्टडी इनकम, एक स्टडी जॉब रहने से वो सिक्योरिटी जो आती है, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। आई एम श्योर कई कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स ये बात कर रहे हैं इसके बारे में। सो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ स्किल्स विल हेल्प?
फर्स्ट थिंग, इसमें दो चीजें हैं जो मैं बोलना चाहूंगी। फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी ऑलवेज मोटिवेट पीपल टू डू एजुकेशन। जैसे हम स्टार्टिंग से बात कर रहे हैं कि एजुकेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एंड इट प्लेज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन एवरीवनस लाइफ। And the second thing, when they have dropped out the study just because of n number of reasons, so first of all we need to do the need assessment, like कहाँ पे उन्होंने पढ़ाई छोड़ी है और इस जगह से कहाँ पे हम उनको प्लेस कर सकते हैं या एक चांस दे सकते हैं। when they start earning, जैसा कि मैंने आपसे पहले भी बात किया था, just when they start earning they'll start learning। तो एक ही टाइम पे अगर लेट्स एग्जांपल, जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि 10th क्लास तक किसी ने पढ़ाई की है, अब हम उनको बोलें कि आप ग्रेजुएशन कर लेंगे उसके बाद हम आपको जॉब दिलवा देंगे, तो हाउ विल दे सर्वाइव टिल द ग्रेजुएशन? इतने टाइम तक वो सर्वाइव कैसे करेंगे? तो विल हैव टू फोकस ऑन दिस, लाइक कि 10th के बेसिस पे उनको कहाँ पे जॉब मिल सकती है और फिर कहाँ से हम उनको लर्निंग भी, उनका अर्निंग के साथ साथ लर्निंग भी स्टार्ट हो जाए। तो डेफिनेटली जब वो 10th के बेसिस पे अगर कुछ लर्न करना स्टार्ट करेंगे, अर्न करना स्टार्ट करेंगे, तो उनका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ेगा और उसके बाद वो डेफिनेटली हायर स्टडीज की तरफ जाएंगे।
पर ये भी सुनने को आया है कि जो अर्न करते हैं ना, सपोजिंग 10th पास किया, अभी वो अर्न करके फिर अपना स्टडीज भी करेंगे, लेकिन वो जो अर्निंग है वो इतना ज्यादा नहीं होगा जितना उनको अज्यूमिंग जैसे कि एक बस्ती बदाई में जहाँ उनको मिलता है। तो उनको क्या मोटिवेटेड रखेगा कि वो लोग नौकरी करें और अपनी एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करें?
जैसा कि मैंने अभी बताया कि काफी सारे लोग हैं जो मेन स्ट्रीम में करना चाहते हैं जॉब। तो सबसे पहले तो हमको ये आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि कहाँ कहाँ पे हम उनको प्लेस कर सकते हैं। तो अभी जैसे मैंने देखा है काफी सारे एम्प्लॉयर्स के साथ, जैसे अभी ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स भी बहुत सारे आ रहे हैं जहाँ पे हम ये कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि ऐसा एनवायरमेंट क्रिएट करें जहाँ पे लोग आ पाए, और लोग आ भी रहे हैं। तो हमको इसके लार्ज लेवल पे काम करने की जरूरत है और फिर आइडेंटिफाई करने की जरूरत है कि उसमें काफी सारे लोग होंगे ऐसे जो करना चाहते हैं बट कर नहीं पा रहे, उनको वो तो उन तक पहुंच ही नहीं पा रहे, तो हमको रीच आउट करने की जरूरत है।
Zainab, what would you recommend to organizations who want to hire transgender people? Like what kind of policies and culture should be there in the company
थोड़ा ना मैं Anupama, I want to speak a little more on the question that you previously asked to Simran. See, I think first of all, corporates,
Okay.
well-wishers, evangelists all need to understand one thing, that dignity of labor is understood differently by different people. While I am totally supportive of people who want to make a shift to the private sector or to look at employment or look at entrepreneurship or even for that matter dependent on entitlement from the government, what people do to their traditional occupation is perfectly fine, normal, and way to go if you believe in that and you think that should be the way forward for them. Coming to the on what should we do for people to bring them into the mainstream in terms of work opportunities, as Simran rightly said and as you rightly reaffirmed towards the end, that what they may earn perhaps to their badai basti may not be as much as they would earn in a 9 to 5 kind of a job or a 9 to 6 kind of a job, if it is like with a facility management or in terms of an admin job or of those kind of jobs. The question is that we have to realize that trans people have to look at whatever is the economic range of salaries that are offered to people of the general category, and then say that okay, this job I am happy to take up without any prior experience, or people who are lucky to have that kind of experience are taken on board. And I'll give you one example. When Sodexo started looking at hiring trans people for doing hospitality management, they were okay to take in totally freshers who had some basic level of education, who could understand English, who were presentable, and if they were willing to learn, they could teach them hospitality skills. But the salary range was very less. It was between 8K and 12K. Now, a lot of people think that this is very little to survive. I understand, I sympathize, but the fact is that post-COVID situation, the reality has changed for everyone. So even the 8K to 12K may become a bigger reality for a person applying to a general category rather than person who wants to come in from a marginalized community background. तो एक चीज हमारे community members को भी समझना चाहिए कि jobs are affected. Millions of people have lost their jobs. So millions of people will be looking for opportunity. So the new normal is going to disrupt everything. It has disrupted everything. So you have to be prepared for taking a steady a steady job, even if it means that it doesn't pay you as much as you would prefer. The second thing, from an upskilling perspective, now there is no particular skill which I believe that a trans community cannot learn. So when people say that we need to do an assessment to understand the skill, you can pick up any given trade. There are people who are boxed on the educational qualification. We can train them on those basis, because if you're talking about skilling and hiring, and that brings me to my next point, then this community is the best group to take forward. People have kind of done that experiment with returning mothers, with people on a career break, with persons with disability. Then why not do it with trans people? Pick up a cohort of trans people, skill them for a particular business unit function, whatever that may be, put them through a rigorous training approach, and make sure whether the training is complete, the business unit absorbs them. That will also do social good. See, now with the Protection of Transgender Persons Act, there is going to be an additional responsibilities on corporate, on India and corporate, to kind of deliver on an equal opportunities policy, to put in various grievance redressal mechanisms for trans people at work. And if they can contribute to the general insurance idea, that would be perfect. But that also means that corporates would have to think about leadership development pathways, to look at multiple ways of engaging them at the workplace, and look at equal benefits. So I think for any trans person who comes in, say to an organization which is a small or a medium sized enterprise, what are the basic things that we want to? The first thing, allow us to dress and use our preferred name wherever possible. When I'm saying wherever possible is for the preferred name, because somewhere your legal name has to be used because there is no other option. And some places like internal communications, etc., you can use your preferred name. Choice to dress. You should not have a stringent dress code which doesn't allow people to freely express their gender identity. The third thing, safe access to a washroom. I think there are millions of times where we've spoken about it. While the larger corporates, the MNCs have got away in converting the PWD washroom to a multi-gender washroom and accessibility washroom, it is not going to be possible for everyone to have that. So in that case, we have to make sure that there is a good bathroom access policy. A lot of people tend to get worried or scared. What will a trans person do if she goes to the women's washroom? Or how will a trans masculine person feel if he goes to the gents washroom? So the question is, what is going to happen? I mean, the women's washroom have cubicles, and the men's washroom have urinals or stalls and a cubicle. So the question is that it is just some of your stereotypes which you need to challenge and break through. When it comes to, there should be zero tolerance for harassment or bullying and language use. And the fourth thing is that if there is a complaint on sexual harassment, then the company should kind of look and get it tagged to their internal committees on sexual harassment at the workplace. The fifth is that if you are offering insurance benefits to all of your staff, make sure gender affirming surgeries can be made part of the insurance benefit, if not in this financial year, in the following financial year, because the total number of percentage of trans person will be less than 0.5% of your total workforce. It is easy to negotiate on that.
Wow, I think that there are many, I think, here from the corporate space who are looking for this response, and I'm sure they have probably very quickly made note of this also. At some point, we will also have a recording of this session, so I'm sure you'll find your points from there as well. I think very, very interesting points, and I have to share this since you spoke about washrooms. Last year, the year before last, I had gone to Varanasi, and on the Ghats, there's a restaurant which is like any typical restaurant. And there I found a washroom which was a gender neutral washroom. They had those symbols, and I was so surprised. I remember taking a picture because that was like the last place that I would have thought would have a gender neutral washroom. So it came, and that was the only washroom they had. So it came as a big pleasant surprise to me to find something like that in a place like Varanasi and in a small restaurant. So I think inclusion can start from anywhere for that matter. सिमरन मुझे बताइए, रिटेल सेक्टर में जब आप थे या कहीं पर भी वर्क प्लेस में, कभी कोई भी या इवन स्कूल में कभी जो भी अगर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का आपका एक्सपीरियंस अगर रहा है, तो क्या वो साथ में रहता है लाइक अ स्कार even when you like keep moving from one job to another or come to a new place, वो रहता है क्या, वो डर की तरह है या कॉन्फिडेंस को थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट करता है क्या, और उसके लिए आप क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या करते हैं?
Yes. So in the beginning, it was like the problem was of switching the job, one job to another, and लेकिन जैसे जैसे मैंने बताया कि जब लगता है कि आपको करना है, एक टाइम आ जाता है जहाँ पे आपको लगता है कि नहीं, और इसके लिए मैंने बताया जैसे कि आई वुड रियली अप्रिशिएट दिस वेबिनार बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ऐसे प्रोग्राम होने चाहिए, जो कि कुछ लोग हैं जो शायद हम अभी भी रीच नहीं कर पाते इतनी चीजों के बावजूद भी, तो शायद ये चीजें वहां तक पहुंचे, और जितने रोल मॉडल, जितने पॉजिटिव चीजें, जितने कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट करने के लिए चीजें हमारे सामने आएंगी, उतना हमारे लिए रहता है कि नहीं, एक बार अगर आपने स्विच कर भी लिया तो सेकंड टाइम यू विल ट्राई, थर्ड टाइम यू विल ट्राई, एंड आई थिंक तो फेस पीछे चला जाता, फिर आप इतने कॉन्फिडेंट बन जाते हैं कि शायद वो धीरे धीरे बहुत लाइट हो जाते हैं और वो आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं करते अभी। और मुझे नहीं लगता कि एक टाइम जब ऐसा आ जाता है अब कि आप अपने जेंडर से जाने जाएं, आप अपने नाम से जाने जाएं, तो जब तक आप अपने नाम से नहीं जाने जाते तब तक मेहनत करते रहें और ट्राई करें। तो
क्या बात है। सो आप बताइए, अभी आप गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस और एम्पावरमेंट में हैं, यहाँ पे तो आप थोड़ा सा जो इन्फ्लुएंस आप चाहते हैं, जो आपकी एक्सपीरियंस रही है उसमें से किसी और को और बेहतर एक्सपीरियंस रहे, इतना इन्फ्लुएंस आप कर सकते हैं, तो आपको अभी कैसा लग रहा है यहाँ पे और क्या आप कर रहे हैं?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल जस्ट अप्रिशिएट कि जैसा मेरा एक्सपीरियंस अभी तक रहा है यहाँ पे काम करने का, जो कहीं ना कहीं मन में चीजें होती थी कि हम जिन टॉपिक्स को लेके बहुत बात करते भी हैं कि शायद ऐसा इन्वायरमेंट होगा या नहीं होगा, ये प्रॉब्लम्स तो नहीं आएंगी, बहुत अच्छा कोऑपरेटिव बिहेवियर सबका रहा और सबके साथ मिंगल होने में कोई प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं हुआ। आई थिंक उनको भी नहीं हुआ होगा। और उसके बाद जो कॉन्फिडेंस मैंने जैसे बताया कि टाइम टू टाइम बढ़ता जाता है, मुझे लगता है अब सिर्फ मैं ही नहीं, बहुत सारे और कॉर्पोरेशन में और बहुत जगह पे बहुत सारे ट्रांसजेंडर्स को मैं देखना चाहूंगी आगे कि, और इसी तरह से कम्युनिटी के बहुत सारे लोग काम करेंगे तो उनको देख के न्यू जनरेशन के लिए कॉन्फिडेंस अपने आप बिल्डअप हो जाएगा कि यस, नाउ वी आर ऑन अ ट्रैक दैट, कि अब ये नहीं है लिमिटेड। जब मैंने ट्रांजिशन 6 years बैक स्टार्ट किया होगा तो दे आर लिमिटेड phases that you can go to the makeup industry, you can go here and there. Now there is a wide industry, आपका जो दिल करे वो आप कर सकते हैं। बट हाँ, ये कॉन्फिडेंस। और अगर मैं ट्रांसजेंडर्स की बात करूँ, नॉट ओनली मी, लाइक इफ विल टॉक अबाउट द makeup industry, if we'll talk about the modeling, if we'll talk about the any other industry, like हर जगह से कुछ ना कुछ नई न्यूज सुनने को मिलती है that transgender person is doing this, transgender person is doing this, ट्रांस मैन जो जिनके बारे में ज्यादा बात नहीं होती थी, आज ट्रांस मैन के भी बहुत अच्छे एग्जांपल्स हमारे सामने आते हैं। तो ये एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट होने लग गया है नाउ। आई विश कि आने वाले टाइम में बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जांपल्स देखने को मिलेंगे और इसके ऊपर अब काम करने की जरूरत है।
वेरी नाइस, थैंक्स सिमरन। यस, और पिछले हमारे जो वेबिनार थे, पिछले 2 वेबिनार में हमारे इसमें ट्रांस मेन थे और बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं वो लोग भी। So it was very heartening to see them. एक चीज और पूछना चाहती हूँ कि हम लोग जैसे सोसाइटी में हैं, हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? यू नो, हाउ कैन सोसाइटी बी सेंसिटाइज्ड टू बी इंक्लूसिव? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लाइक में कितने सारे लोग हैं, हम लोग सब कॉर्पोरेट से, जरूरी नहीं है सब कॉर्पोरेट से हैं, स्टूडेंट्स भी है हमारे ऑडियंस में, होम मेकर्स हैं, एजुकेशनलिस्ट हैं, मेंटल हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स हैं। सो कैसे हम लोग, कैसे यू नो जनरली कैसे इंक्लूड, क्या हमारे तरफ से आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हो?
हाँ, मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले जैनब जी को सुना कि इसके लिए सिंपल सा आंसर है कि जैसा आई थिंक वी ऑल आर ह्यूमन बीइंग, जैसे हम हैं, जैसा कोई है, जैसे किसी को खुशी मिल सकती है उस तरह से खुशी दे दें बस। अगर कोई अपना नाम आइडेंटिफाई फीमेल करना चाहता है, मेल करना चाहता है, किस तरह से भी कोई बाहर आना चाहता है, उस तरह से ट्रीट करें तो आई थिंक मुझे नहीं लगता कोई प्रॉब्लम होने वाली है आगे। और जैसे वो बॉन्डिंग बनती जाएगी, और आई थिंक ये हो भी रहा है, बट अभी काफी कुछ और होने की जरूरत है। जितना हम रीच कर पाएंगे, जितने लोगों तक ये मैसेज जाएंगे, और उसके ऊपर काम करने की जरूरत है।
तो वो कई लोगों के लिए, जैसे पहली बार कई लोग जैसे आप लोगों को सुन रहे हैं, हमारा मकसद भी ये वेबिनार का यही है कि आप लोगों की स्टोरी सुने, आप लोगों को देखें, ये भी सुने कि लाइक कितना कुछ आप कर रहे हो अपने लाइफ में, नहीं तो कई लोग कभी ऐसे आमने सामने बैठ के बात कभी हुई नहीं होगी। तो अगर पहली बार, जैसे मैं आपको पहली बार मिल रही हूँ, तो मैं कॉन्वर्सेशन कैसे शुरू करूँ?
I think this is the only problem. Why do we think about it like we have to make any special plan for them? We are not special. We can be mingled with the mainstream community. We are just like you, and you are just like us. So अगर ये बात हम अपने आप को समझा लें तो फिर मुझे नहीं लगता कोई प्रॉब्लम आने वाली है। और जैसा मैंने अभी अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताया, मुझे लगा नहीं ऐसा कुछ भी डिफरेंट या कुछ प्रॉब्लमेटिक, या मुझे ऐसा फीडबैक भी आया हाँ से भी कि इसलिए मैंने अपने ऊपर लाइन में लिखा भी था, बिहेवियर विंस हर्ट। अगर आप किसी के साथ पोलाइट रहेंगे, अच्छे रहेंगे, तो डेफिनेटली वो इम्पैक्ट कहीं ना कहीं आएगा। तो इफ आई एम, अगर मैं किसी को रिस्पेक्ट दे रही हूँ तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो रिस्पेक्ट आएगी। और हो सकता है वो 5% ना आए, 10% नहीं आए, यू विल हैव टू जस्ट यू नो उसको इग्नोर करते हुए आपको आगे बढ़ना है, एंड यू हैव टू बी कॉन्फिडेंट। तो ये चेंज आएगा।
Beautiful. I mean, that's exactly my thought process. Zainab, I want to hear your view also on this.
मेरा थोड़ा रैडिकल व्यू है उसके ऊपर।
बोलिए।
सब लोगों ने बॉलीवुड फिल्म देखी होगी, और उसमें अगर पुरानी फिल्म्स किसी ने देखी होगी तो मुझसे दोस्ती करोगे। There was a movie with Kareena Kapoor and Rani Mukherjee. So you have to become like Kareena Kapoor of मुझसे दोस्ती करोगे. You have to make an attempt to know the other person. How does one make an attempt to know the other person? And I'll give you an example. आज के तारीख का example. 2-3 days ago in Kerala, a female elephant was killed due to various situations that arise by eating a firecracker laced fruit apparently, and she died. Everyone read about it. Everyone had a comment ready as to how the elephant died and how we talk about worshipping gods and we cannot look at his creation. Perhaps they may be eating chicken tikka along with that and talking about it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So eating a chicken and talking about an elephant death is just another oxymoron. But if I look at it from a normative perspective, if you really want to know someone, what is it that you do? You you show through your bodily expressions that you are okay to talk to the person. The person can feel safe with you. You do not show an aggressive, or a anti body lotion, like locking your arms or looking into the air and talking or looking at the ground or trying to have a disinterested conversation. The second thing, जब आप किसी को पसंद करते हो या बात करने की कोशिश करते हो, तो I'm assuming हम में थोड़ी बहुत तो शिष्टाचार है, तो हम सामने वाले से पूछते हैं कि भाई आपको हम किस तरीके से नाम से पुकारे या किस नाम से मैं आपको बोलूं. तो आई थिंक फॉर द कम्युनिटी ऑल्सो, इफ यू आस्क समवन कि माय नेम इज अनुपमा, माय नेम इज जैनब, एंड आप अपने आप को क्या बुलाना पसंद करते हो या मैं किस तरीके से आपको संबोधित करूं. अब ऐसे नहीं होता है ना कि सारे ट्रांस लोग एक जैसे दिखते हैं. Now, if someone sees and purposely identifies me or calls me in a male name, either the person is blind or just trying to act extra smart. The same thing is that you may have trans people who may just have started their gender transitioning, and they need the support word, name, and pronoun much more than a person like me, perhaps, who people tick in the box and say, "Acha Zainab Patel hai, to she to lagti hi hai." So I think you should ask the person the thing. The second thing is that start a conversation. When you start a conversation, you try to know person's life, you know points of people's interest. So your life is perhaps not very different than the trans person's life, but only the situations in which they are gone through are exceptional and different compared to yours. So a little bit of understanding, a little bit of empathy, a little bodily language change, and openness to a dialogue. See, no one is going to change overnight. One sensitization session, one chance encounter with someone may touch someone's life. But for larger people, they go back to their work because there are other pressing concerns. But the fact is that if you are trying to make a meaningful conversation, at least you remember certain points of interest in the other person's life and use that to base the other or follow-up, conversation. Biases, जो हमारे मन में भेदभाव के एलिमेंट्स होते हैं, वो शरीर में चर्बी की तरह होते हैं. जितने ज्यादा आप बड़े होते जाते हो, उतना ही दृढ़ता से वो आपके शरीर में चिपकते हैं. तो you have to make a very purposeful choice of being able to change that, to challenge that. Now, everyone today in the lockdown wants to do Zumba, at least if not for anyone else, they want to do it because it's offered free. So take this opportunity, learn about the community. Everyone is talking about mental wellness, and we'll do Punjabi or Bollywood Bhangra, stuff like that. So learn, make some time to learn about the community. There is nothing going to change. If there is one thing this COVID situation has taught us, it is don't take your privileges for granted.
Very true, Zainab. And I would like to say that we started this, for the longest time, I had been thinking, ki, how do I bridge this gap, exactly what you're saying, to establish these conversations. And the lockdown gave me this idea, ki, let me do these webinars. And I'm very happy to say that there are so many of my friends who have been following from day one, who've never had the opportunity to or never like even thought of it, and they share very openly, they share that we never thought about it, but today they've learned so much, they've met so many of people from the community, and they're able to see that there is actually really no, not such a big difference. It's our mindset, and maybe even the thought process which was drilled in us as we were growing up about the community, and little by little that those myths are being broken. एक क्वेश्चन जरूर है मेरे पास कि आप जो बोल रहे हो कि गेट टू नो द अदर पर्सन, व्हिच वी डू नॉर्मली इन एनी कन्वर्सेशन, एंड बट थिंग्स लाइक have you transitioned, have you done a surgery? These are not questions which are appropriate. Am I right? It's left to the individual to share. Like just like कोई मुझसे तो नहीं पूछेगा ना कि like are you a, I mean if I have to be really blasé, like are you a virgin? Nobody's going to come and ask me that question, right? It's very inappropriate. So I'm presuming that asking uh, a trans person all these things is like very
You belong to 1976. Okay, nobody asks if someone is a virgin today.
हाँ,
I
मैं
think you're
76
talking
में नहीं हूँ,
about
मैं
your
उससे भी
college
पहले
life.
की हूँ.
So I think that's no. I just laughed at that conversation. But let Simran answer the.
हाँ सिमरन
Yeah.
बोलिए.
As I said, I have most of my experience with the retail industry. So I'll just give an example. If you're going to be in any of the retail store, right? So we are not going to ask like, we can ask politely that the first thing when we enter in the store like is greet with the smile. When you are greeting with the smile, you are just try to connect with the person first thing. And as Janav ji says like कि एक डायलॉग क्रिएट करने की जरूरत है. जब डायलॉग आप क्रिएट करते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं वो आइडेंटिफिकेशन अपने आप आ जाती है कि दैट आई एम अ फीमेल और मेल. So you can identify with that. Like if I'm asking how are you doing today, how may I help you? Like in a retail, like how may I help you, sir? How may I help you, ma'am? If you're not using how may I help you, they'll start communicating with you, and you'll get to know that you have how you have to identify them. So at least start talking to them, try to develop a relation with them. After one or two sentences, you'll get to know that they identify themselves as a female or male. So at
Okay.
least we should start with the positive gesture, positive greet and smile. That is good enough. You'll get your answer.
Okay. Zainab, you want to add to that? And then we have like lots of questions, I think, for both of you. So you can add to
No,
that.
so
And I wish
so
I could take back my comment and say I'm much younger and I don't, I should not have asked. Tell me.
Okay, I can't even tell you now you're young at heart, because people who are young at heart do the most atrocious things. Okay, तो क्विकली सिमरन की बातों को ऐड करते हुए मैं एक चीज कहना चाहती हूँ. बहुत सारी बार ऐसे भी होता है कि हम लोग तहजीब में आके पहले आप we use आप. Now आप is gender agnostic in a sense, because आप could be used in a masculine form, आप could be used in a feminine form. There are a lot of people who now prefer to be using the word they. Now they in English becomes a slightly different grammatical challenge. Okay, but if you use the Hindi equivalent of aap, you can actually neutralize the language when you are talking to people and unsure of the person's orientation or identity. So एक चीज का वो ध्यान दे. दूसरी चीज का आज मुझे लगता है कि uncomfortable topics. If someone asks me today, I'm more than happy to talk about issues which are born out of ignorance or plain miscommunication. But the fact is that if people want to know you by your genitals, they have absolutely no right to know about you. You wouldn't want to categorize a male by his genitals or have a conversation by women on each other's genitals, right? So that is indecent, improper, and the most obnoxious thing to ask. Like, okay, have you undergone sex change surgery? What is it that's going to happen? Are you going to pay for the surgery? Are you going to do post-operative care? Are you going to help me with that? If the answer to any of even one of the questions is no, then please don't ask the question. The second question that I feel is inappropriate to ask is that when are you transitioning? Or is your transition complete? Have you done both the surgeries? And I think this is something that people need to stop asking people. Do we ask men that have they undergone any kind of surgeries post childbirth to not have any children, or are they using condoms, or are they using contraceptives? Do we ask these questions to women about body types? Then why is someone else's body and body parts of so much of interest to shape a conversation? So even if a person is happy to talk about it, it is indecent and improper to ask about someone's genitals in any conversation. I don't know of any culture in the world or any religious group that allows you to have conversations based on somebody's genitals. Otherwise, we are so sanskari, we hide everything. Okay, we like to cover our feet, we like to cover our head, but in our conversations we want to uncover all the parts of the body. So I think that's a perfectly unnatural and uncommon conversation to have.
Thanks Zainab, and I appreciate both you and Simran sharing this point, क्योंकि कई बार ये भी एक, बिकॉज अभी इतने सारे स्टोरी सुन रहे हैं, कई कंफ्यूजन जरूर रहता है कि क्या पूछ सकते हैं क्या नहीं पूछ सकते हैं, एंड ये आई थिंक जस्ट टू बिल्ड दैट ट्रस्ट, द कॉन्फिडेंस एंड द रिलेशनशिप, इम्पोर्टेंट है कि जो इनअप्रोप्रिएट है वो भी हम लोग कॉल आउट करके बताएं कि ये चीजें बिल्कुल सही नहीं है. इस ऐसे सेशंस में, प्लेटफॉर्म में जो आप बात कर रहे हैं, या सिमरन, जैनब, आप लोग जो बात कर रहे हैं, जितने भी लोग पहले बात कर चुके हैं, वो क्योंकि आप लोग ऑलरेडी कंफर्टेबल हो एंड आप ये प्लेटफॉर्म में बात कर रहे हैं, आपका चॉइस है ये, right? Without knowing a choice, we cannot ask you these questions. I just wanted to call that out. So I'm just going to quickly go over to like the whole lot of questions, and we have 15 minutes. सिमरन, किसी ने आपको पूछा है कि आपको स्पोर्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट था, तो उसमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलते हैं क्या ट्रांसजेंडर लोगों के लिए? आसान है क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलना?
मैं कभी ये नहीं देखती कि अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलते हैं नहीं मिलते. अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट की जाती हैं, और इसका आंसर जैसे मैंने पहले भी दिया, what I wanted to do, if I get a chance to ride a bike and I want to go to Leh Ladakh, definitely I would go. तो अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट की जाती हैं, और वही एटीट्यूड मेरा रहता है काम करने के लिए.
Okay. Okay, Simran. So whatever basically what you're saying, अगर आप करना चाहते हो तो go ahead and do it. ये कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ आप करिए.
अगर नहीं भी मिलेगी तो एटलीस्ट कुछ लर्निंग रहेगा और मुझसे नेक्स्ट को मिल जाएगी.
So that's a positive outlook to
definitely.
Yeah. So Zainab, there was one question to you about what are you trying, how are you trying to make a difference through at corporates? I think you have answered that in the course of our conversation. Somebody's asked, I would like to hear from Zainab, what will help at corporate organizations to create more inclusive culture, especially towards LGBTQIA+. I think that also to some extent you have answered, but if you want to add more.
But I think from the larger LGBTIQ perspective, I think having conversations around gender norms is absolutely essential, because in your unconscious bias, you are trying to, talk about issues of gender, caste, ethnicity, religion, power structures, then sexuality becomes a way of controlling someone else. So it is definitely a power structure that needs to be addressed. The second thing is that I think today, most of the companies have been able to arm twist insurance providers to have same-sex insurance. So if a KPMG can do it with one institution, if a Godrej can do it with another insurance provider, what is really stopping people from going ahead and arm twisting? Because you're paying money. I mean, insurance comes at a premium. And look at the amount of coverage that you're looking for. You're only looking at spousal coverage or partner coverage. If a person who is a cisgendered person in a heterosexual marriage can cover his spouses, what is stopping a cisgendered transsexual or a gay man, a cisgendered gay man, or a transsexual person or a transgender person from availing it for his, her, or their partner? Nothing wrong. The third thing is that if you have internal complaints committee based on Vishaka guidelines, please include complaints on grounds of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. Even if you don't take the IC route, you can still look at code of conduct inquiries and admonish people, look at punishments based where there are clear-cut cases of harassment and discrimination, saying that the firm has zero tolerance for any kind of discriminatory behavior. If today people can stand up and talk against communal issues and take a strict stand that this place is an equal safe space for all, safe space doesn't mean that safe space minus issues on sexual minorities. So I think that is an internal call which people can take, irrespective of having a legal avenue or no. So don't wait for another judgment to come or another law to be passed by the parliament. These are small steps that you can take without any support. It just needs creativity and willpower at your leadership teams. So if you tell me that my leadership team doesn't agree with it, then probably it's time to change your leadership team. Because you can't change so many people. You have to change the leadership team then.
So actually the next question is really related to that. What are the challenges faced by trans persons when trying to make inroads in companies where minority inclusion or gender diversity is almost unheard of, or where the leadership has not yet considered this as a priority? And I know many companies where they're जेंडर डाइवर्सिटी की बात कर रहे हैं और काफी कुछ करते हैं, या पीपल विद डिसेबिलिटीज की भी बात करते हैं, लेकिन एलजीबीटी की बात आते हैं तो वो बोलते नहीं नहीं ये अभी नहीं सोचेंगे, हम रेडी नहीं हैं. तो
देखो अभी तो अनुपमा ऐसे हो गया है कि whether it's the CII, whether it's FICCI, even Indian entities are waking up to the fact that they cannot be an ignoramus in the room. They cannot say, I'm going to ignore the white elephant in my room and I'm only going to talk about specific subsections of communities, because there is an intersection of caste, language, and religion in all people, including LGBTI people. So sooner or later, they will wake up to the conversation that there are marginalized groups and they will have to take it forward. अभी तो वो moral case का time खत्म हो गया है, economic cost का time खत्म हो गया. I don't think there are any more logical arguments to give to an illogical group of people. The question is only change of heart and mind. Change of heart will take a longer time. You can change your mind based on logic that's available. That's the only thing that I say. I think people have thought about it in the US, in the UK, everywhere. In India, we've had our own struggle. I mean, what more logic? If the court has accepted the logical arguments, what will your tiny mind, in terms of what the Constitution has decreed? You cannot say that, oh, I will close my eye to that then. If a court judge will tell you that the society needs to apologize to people, we are not asking for an apology. We are only looking for opportunity.
Very nicely said. Okay, the next one, Simran, Abhina, I think you are here in the call, so maybe Abhina, you could respond to this one. As of now, what kind of efforts are being done to educate the community, and how much of percentage of the community, what is the percentage of illiteracy? Any special school established for trans community?
I think it's like amazing to hear both Zainab and Simran. They're like it's like on the cricket pitch doing sixes and fours, and like you are this transformation to hear them. It's amazing to hear their voice, and it's amazing to see their perspective. I just want to add to one thing is that I don't think so we require to have any special school for transgenders. What we require to have is an inclusion. I think both these amazing women who are there right now in our call are talking about is that we don't need your special permissions. We just need a space to blossom with our abilities and to our full potentials. And they're not even claiming that is like there has to be any specific requirement as such for trans people. I think what you need to have is more inclusive society and equal opportunities to people. I think what is important at this point of time is that we look into the sexual harassment, gender-based violence, specifically at the education institutions, because those are the issues which are making trans people drop out from the education system. I think we also need to provide an additional support for trans people to complete the educational facility with the scholarships, with the help of additional resource funding, in case if some trans person has left their house and they're staying alone and still they want to complete their educations. I also have a special soft corner for adult education per se, for people who have not completed their education, but now they feel that is they need to get back to their educations. We need to have those special, maybe not schools, but probably opportunities for these individuals to get back to their educations and provide support in this regard. And Zainab, you're amazing. I have no less words for your contribution to this community and the way you are making all of us proud. And Simran, I mean, I've seen you for so many years. Every time I see you, my heart skips a beat. How beautiful you are, blossoming, and at the same time, how talented you are. You guys are opening huge doors to the community people. I think there is no other words for that. Thank you so much for being here for this session.
Thanks, Abhina, for that response. So education is important, and I think like you said, scholarships or night schools and adult education. There are a lot of people I know who dropped, and today they recognize that the importance of education. They want to pursue education. So those opportunities, if we can create, I think they're going to definitely make a difference. There is one question on would leaders on the panel take on a hand holding this channel? Something on SRS. I'm just going to see, because we are definitely going to have another one which is on the medical and the mental health space. So probably we'll keep it for that. सिमरन, आपसे एक सवाल है कि किस किस तरह की जॉब पाइपलाइन में है. आई थिंक वो आप आंसर कर चुके हैं. और एक और है, लॉकडाउन में क्या चैलेंजेस रहे हैं कम्युनिटी में?
Yes, I think lockdown may, I think also there are a lot of people who are helping to transgender community, but in lockdown, the people who were actually surviving on specifically on Basti Badai and all those kind of perspective, and they had a very limited amount of savings. Their employment opportunities, I mean, their earning opportunities through Basti Badai and also to the sex work, stopped way before even lockdown started. So we've got lots and lots of call where trans people have been saying is that, before even lockdown started, say maybe 20 days before, 15 days before, their business was affected badly because there was a huge amount of fear. The second thing that we found out from the trans men, some of the trans men and young trans women reported that is just before the lockdown, they were thinking about going through the surgery. Some of them were also admitted in the hospital and they've been asked to leave without a surgery. Their resources also become very difficult. We were doing a training with some of the trans men in Delhi with help of NISD and a National Backward Class department, and that training and a lot of other trainings because governments wanted to establish a shelter home and at the same time skill building program. Those all trainings have got postponed, and in fact we were supporting almost 20 trans men in our shelter home for last 3 months, and it has been a very precarious condition for trans. The other thing that has really impacted to the trans women is that we also received a case from Madhya Pradesh where a trans woman has been affected by corona and she died, but we still don't have the correct numbers among the community members how many people have died because of corona. There has been some cases which have been reported. Yeah.
So thanks, Abhina. Yeah, I think some of the earlier issues I'm aware of because we worked together to provide relief supplies. But the corona ones I was not aware of. I just hope that they got the right kind of support during this phase. I think Dr. Sanjay had a question. Yeah, I think his was on the medical issue. Zainab, one question for you: that will the DNI initiatives be impacted because of this lockdown? Because there's a huge economic implications of this lockdown and the coronavirus. So will it have a negative impact on the DNI? Like just today, I read an article about, in the layoffs, will women be impacted more? And so how does it reflect on the LGBT initiatives?
See, the fact is that there are millions of people who are going to who have lost their jobs and will continue to lose their jobs if the economy doesn't make a U-turn or a V-turn to this thing. In that, there are people who with poor performing scorecards, 4-5 rankers, who are automatically going to be the ones who will first face the chopping board. Unfortunate reality, but true. While in our organization, we have tried to maintain the balance about not throwing out people or not getting the haircut in terms of looking at us lean fit, the fact is that the future diversity hiring is definitely impacted. Because if you were then going to look and source for talent, then you would have to compromise in some way. I'm not talking about this in particular reference to KPMG, because we're still going to be PWD hiring, we're still going to be doing LGBT hiring, we're still going to be doing campus hiring, etc. on grounds of gender. But I'm talking about an overall standard, industry standard. There is going to be an impact, and no one can be wear blinkers and say that it's not going to affect. Definitely, if performance is impacted on grounds of harassment or discrimination, if performance is hampered on based on life events, marriage, childbirth, etc., then those are things that the reporting managers need to take people into confidence and assure people that yes, we understand that, but we are here to protect your job and at least protect the positions. So a furlough would be better than layoff in that sense. But to answer your question in more ways than one, yes, I definitely feel no hesitance in mentioning that people are going to be losing their jobs, and inevitably it is the women, because it is looking from a skill set, travel perspective, life event perspective, it is those who are losing the jobs. Unfortunately, not many leaders are speaking out about it, but I think as someone in a responsible position, we need to call this out, and we need to start campaigning for that. It took us a long time to come here in terms of achieving gender parity. Even if it's 30% or 40% or 50% is still a dream, but those gains cannot be lost now, especially in the coming year.
Thanks, Zainab. Yes, absolutely right. And it's very unfortunate that the hard work, which in fact the last decade is when the maximum work has been done in this space, and then we've come to this position where a lot of it is going to lose its. A lot of that good work is going to get lost. That's an unfortunate reality, and let's just hope that together we all can make sure that the impact is not going to be so negative, and find a support system for each other. We are actually running out of time, and there are questions. There's somebody who wanted to ask you a question. Unfortunately, like, we can't have audio question because there'll be many others who may want. So what I would suggest is that if you could either type the question or you can email the question to us, and we'll get one of the speakers to respond to you. I would also like to say that there are community members in the group. So SR want to announce that even SR group has started something called a trans school, where they're wanting to impart different skill development for the community members. Right now, they have started with something on emotional well-being, where Dr. Aditi Govitrikar is conducting group sessions, and then she's offering individual counseling sessions. So please do reach out. They post the information on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all the other social media handles that they have. You can avail, it's absolutely free, you can avail of this facility. So Zainab, and thanks a lot for being on this webinar, for clarifying so many questions. I think both people who are from the corporate side, as well as all of us who are here as participants, you're amazing. You share beautifully, and you have a fabulous way of speaking, and I can just see you going places, Zainab. Before
I just want to go to Bombay, nothing else. I don't want to go to any other place.
Please come, please come. We would love to have you here. I told you when we met earlier also, stay in Bombay. Yeah, Abhina, thank you. You are always the backbone of these webinars. You always guide me well, and it's fabulous working with you on these webinars. And Shireen, thanks a lot. As usual, you handle everything at the back end. Amit, if you're here, thank you for your support with all the creatives, and thank you for all the participants for being here.